The Salvation Army is already gearing up for the holiday season. They're set to launch their annual toy drive next month. After nearly 50 years of women having the right to an abortion nationwide, that right is no longer. We head out to Marana. The Arizona Department of Education just released letter grades for Arizona schools. If we look back to 2018, that just wasn't the case, with Governor Doug Ducey at 71%, Ken Bennett with only 29% of the vote. Governor Doug Ducey winning every single county. Walked it pregnant. I was just waddling away.
Impressive.
I know.
Impressive. Well, I'm actually going to be out there, scheduled to be out there Thursday. I hope not to be waddling. I don't think anybody wants to see that.
We do. We do, right? We do. We are showcasing all of the neighborhoods here in southern Arizona. Of course, my neighborhood is the town of Marana. I have lived here for several years, and throughout that time, I have seen such growth. Now, I had the honor and privilege of speaking to the town mayor, Ed Honey, about the past, present, and future of the town. I am here at Bar T-Mobile Park off of Drexel and Country Club, and they are taking me now to where this water leak happened. Apparently, it was really a community effort on fixing this water leak, but now they're still paying for it with over $2,700 that each of these tenants are being charged for their water bill.
Yesterday, Steve Larson came to the property, and he handed out a water bill to all of us tenants.
How much was your water bill?
$2,793.49.
What's it normally?
$100.
This is the water pipe where they found a leak. Now, all of these tenants I talked to actually showed me a picture of them all working together to get that leak fixed. Even though they fixed it, there's still a $20,000 bill, and someone has to pay for it. So the question is who? When talking to the tenants, they say prior to this big bill, they were usually charged around $100, and that the owner of the property should cover the cost of the leak.
They're all right there. All my water bottles that I have to use, to make, macaroni and cheese, spaghetti, because I'm so scared to use my water.
I reached out to the owner of the property, who confirmed the leak has since been fixed, but says since then his tenants aren't being responsible with water, with usage still not down to what it was prior to the leak in April. Some of his tenants don't agree.
Drink out of the sink, I get bottled water. I take showers 1 or 2 times a day, and I barely cook here. I eat at work. I don't use water here at all, but he's charging us a lot of money for a water bill that wasn't our fault.
But the landlord says it's their responsibility. He then sent me this video of one tenant's leaking bathtub faucet. Meanwhile, neighbors say they're low income and just can't afford a bill like this.
Pretty sure we'd be kicked out, because he's already said he doesn't care if we have no water, no food, that he's just going to shut it off and disconnect it, and he already has. It was off for almost 2 months, and we had to use buckets of water back and forth to the store, couldn't shower for 2 months.
One of the renters provided me with their leasing contract, which states that the landlord will provide and pay for water and the tenants will be back billed each month. It also states that the landlord shall be responsible for repairs in or about the lease premises. I reached out to Tucson Water on the matter, and while they couldn't talk to me directly about this situation, they say sometimes they can forgive a large bill like this if someone can show that they have water usage back down to levels prior to when a leak occurs. This mobile home park has still not been able to get water usage levels to the lows they had prior to the leak. Tenants say they're working to get it down. In the meantime, they're left in limbo, and the owner's water bill remains past due. Priscilla Martinez bought this home behind me for $158,000, and after living here for a few days with her girls, she realized her dream home had a big problem.
This is a secret that is buried, literally and figuratively, and it needs to come up. Someone needs to answer for this.
Priscilla had called a plumber to her home after her toilet became clogged, only to uncover a big sewage problem underneath her house, with repairs estimated at over $14,000 just to get it fixed.
If you flush the toilet multiple times, if you take a shower, sewage will come out from the drain on your toes.
Her realtor says the property was an investment property and had no disclosure of any sewage problems, and that when they ordered an inspection, the problem wasn't caught.
After the home inspection was done, there was nothing in the home inspection report to validate a video scope or any other type of inspection, so we moved forward.
So what did the seller know about the sewage? This document, verified by KEGA 9, shows the seller's name with an estimate from Cummings Plumbing for over $14,000 in fixes for the sewage lines back in 2020. KEGA 9 sat down with real estate attorney Corey Larson, who is not affiliated with the seller or buyer in this story. We asked what the law is in Arizona when it comes to disclosing problems like this, even with an investment property that had no seller property disclosure, otherwise known as SPUDs.
Even though there might be no SPUDs given, no disclosure given, there's still an obligation at law for the seller to disclose known latent defects, that is known hidden defects.
But last time I was taking a shower, I was like, why isn't it draining? Then sewage started to come up, and you can see the toilet paper residue, you can see feces. It's just a total and utter mess.
A mess that she says even her neighbors knew about.
The neighbors do not have the same issue, but they told me that the prior owners did, and that there were plumbers out here all the time, and it's been an ongoing issue for whoever lives here. And she told me, sell your house immediately.
Grisilla and her two girls are living temporarily in a rental home. Meanwhile, she's left with a mortgage on a home she can't live in.
I feel like I'm waking up to a nightmare every day. You know, I'm supposed to be celebrating and not down in the dumps, plunging the sewer, plunging the toilet. I mean, it's coming up, and I'm afraid because my children aren't stable. I mean, we can't live here. We're moving from this place to this place, staying an overnight at a friend's, and I've never lived like this before. You know, I'm scattered.
Grisilla hoping to come up with a solution that works best for her girls.
We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna sort this out. We always make it, right? Yeah. Even if it's just this close, we always make it.
KEGA 9 reached out to the seller and their real estate agent and have not yet heard back for comment. After filing a formal complaint with the Attorney General's office, Emily Landsberg is still without a van and paying $422 a month. The dealership said they were going to make some repairs before giving her the keys. Those repairs have turned into months of waiting, only to be told they can't repair it.
They've just placed me like on another level and put me in a horrible position.
Emily Landsberg says she had planned on living in the van, and since she never got it, she's been homeless.
But at the same time, I shouldn't have been forced for 4 months to have to live that way when I should have had my van, which is my home.
In a letter obtained by KEGA 9, the owner, Dursala of Tucson Used Auto Sales and Gear 6 Motorsports, says in part they lost sight of the true meaning of customer service and since have hired a new general manager. So why wasn't the company able to make the fix on Emily's vehicle, and why did it take so long?
So I've already found the part. They've been telling me for 5 months that the part hasn't come in. The first one didn't work. They went and picked up the van from this dealership that was telling me what was going on. And beyond that, it's a sensor, so you don't know what else is wrong with it. So I feel like it's also being delayed because they don't want to disclose what else is wrong.
Emily was told in an email that the dealership couldn't fix her van, but instead offered to take it to somewhere of her choosing to get the repairs done and that they'll pay for it. After going to both dealerships and leaving several messages, the new general manager said he'd speak to me about how they were planning on solving Emily's problem and would only go on camera to tell me how they would do better in the future.
We have implemented many new procedures to change our policy and the way that we're handling customers and vehicles prior to the customers coming to the lot.
Unfortunately, Emily isn't alone in her complaint against the Tucson auto dealer. Veteran Sandra Barger says she spent around $7,000 on repairs for a Jeep she bought from the dealership and was never reimbursed.
And they said they were going to reimburse me. I have not gotten reimbursed, and that was in April of 21, and here we are now in 22.
We asked the general manager about Sandra's complaint, and they said since we interviewed her, they have agreed to pay her a settlement of $3,000 by the end of the month. So why the miscommunication? The general manager told me salesmen were answering calls, but when getting complaints, they were just blatantly ignored. On top of that, he says their computer database had a glitch deleting some of their data on vehicles sold.
Employees have disappeared. They don't work there no more. So when I call over there, they're like, oh, he's not here anymore. So it's kind of like pass the buck.
While both veterans' problems haven't been resolved yet, 9 on Your Side plans to follow up with them and give you an update on what happens. We looked on the Better Business Bureau's website, and Tucson Used Auto Sales has an F rating with 6 complaints filed in the last year. If you're looking to buy a car from a dealership, the Attorney General's office says look up your vehicle's history, do your homework, and know your rights.